Hello, this is the crazy old Nubian. My rant today is about enlightenment and the way things are in the world. Everybody thinks they're free, but the truth is nobody's free. The proof in the freedom is that everybody thinks they're free, like I just said, but nobody's free. Not even your master's free, your boss, your supervisor, your president, your leaders of the world, and those who rule into the whole world. None are free. Not even your creator's free. Because they have to deal with you. They have to deal with you in whatever level that you live. If you were living in the sewer, they have to deal with you. If you're a corporate executive, somebody has to deal with you. They have to keep you in line and control. That's why the world is the way it is. Because they don't have the truth, the understanding of the truth, the being, not the word, the being, the truth, being in the truth, being before the truth, understanding what truth is. And one thing of truth is that all things under truth are ruled by truth, as well as truth is ruled by all things under truth. But the truth that has rule, the rule that you have over him is not yours. It's the truth's rule. It's the rule of truth. It's hard to understand and it's hard to enlighten you to the idea of what I've come into knowledge of. Truth is a being, and that being is ruled by you only because of causal effect. In order for you to exist, you have to be ruled. And when you create something, you have to be ruled by what you created. You have to serve that which you created. In other words, a scientist invents a robot. Well, that scientist has to work on that robot, serve that robot so that robot can serve him. That's why when you take your washing machine into the washing machine mechanic, he goes, "Oh, what? I gotta service this." Or when you take your car to the garage, I got to service this. In other words, I'm serving this for you. And this is where I control you. So those who serve rule. It is in the text. Those who serve rule, but nobody understands what rule is in the text. You get what I'm trying to say to you? Nobody understands what rule is under the text. Those who rule serve, and everybody rules and everybody serves. Because the serviceman, he rules over your paycheck, but you rule over his paycheck too. Because if you don't go to that service and you go to another service to get your car fixed, don't you have rules where your money goes? So if you say, Okay, you want to charge me too much? I'll go to the next guy. Who's serving who? If you got the power to do that, then he's serving you. Because if he's smart, he's going to say, well, how much is the other guy charging you? And if it's cheaper than his price, guess what? He's going to try to make you a deal. Because if the other guy could do it for that price, why can't I? I would rather have a little bit of his money and serve you, so you serve me your money. So service goes back and forth. Slave master whooped the slave, gave the slave a place to sleep. He beat him, but he had a place to stay. And if he didn't misbehave and he kept his shit right, he might have never had to deal with the master. Not everybody can keep up with that. I ain't saying it's right, but the master had to make the people work, so he had to serve them. He had to watch over them. He had to make sure that they was doing it. Couldn't sit back and do that. He could have hired somebody else, but he had to go out and do the work to do that. He had to work to get you to work. You ever hear of Stephen Fetchit? Stephen Fetchit was a joke. He was a character of the Jim Crow era. He was kind of like Jim Crow, the dancer who was white faced. But Stephen Fetchit was a real black man, had a voice. They probably chopped off his ball because he talked like a little girl. He was like, "Oh, master, how you gonna do this?" But you gotta have respect. Stephen Fetchit was one of the richest black folks in the world. People don't know that. See, they just say, "Oh, Stephen Fetchit." The ones who know, they don't have no understanding or wisdom, so they get mad. Stephen Fetchit. Stephen Fetchit was raising money for people's lives because those who serve, and get served and rule. And Stephen Fetchit ruled over people because he was humble. This is the trick. Humble. Yeah, I used to didn't think that. I just recently came in that myself. I was studying history and I realized that the black folks who made the biggest money, and people call it not even just black folks, just the Indians and Native Americans and Hispanics. And really, some of the, I think some, I don't, my suspicion is Hispanics knows this. When you humble yourself to these people who rule over you, it comes to a point where you rule over them. People don't know what humble is. They think, oh, well, humble, you got to be born to be humble. No. You got these gangster rappers and all this used to be gangster rappers back in the day. Look at them now. They ain't doing all that stuff now. They talking like, hey, you need to get your shit straight. What they taught me back in the street ain't shit. That ain't no real hustle. But y'all want to be rappers, do all that. You don't want to do the real hustle. I didn't. Too late for me. Well, maybe not, but too late. When you get too old, you can't do what you gotta do, can't fix yourself, and you pay attention to these knuckleheads. You let these people tell you you gotta work for them. That's what the problem is. But you don't just tell you don't. I ain't gonna do that. See, you have smart ass attitudes ain't gonna get you nowhere. Because that's not the way the Creator created things. It's not about serving them or doing them. It's about getting you to the point where you need to be. When it says humble yourself, they ain't talking about being humble, humble. They're like, don't start the strife, let the strife come to you. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, they don't understand that in slavery, when slaves bring the strife comes to them. But when the strife comes to them and you confront the strife, then it's a different situation. That's why I tell people, you're against all this violence and stuff going on with these organizations and stuff on the street, but you need to ask yourself which ones are humble. You get what I'm saying? The ones that are humble are going to make more strife because the master that fears them is saying, well, at least they're going this route or they're going to go that route. And if you give your master something he can't refuse, and you serve him with something he can't refuse, guess what? He's bound to you. You don't believe me? You know who Henry Ford is? His most honored employee was a black man. But this black man was raised by white people. He was basically raised by white people. His mama was killed in the slavery and all that. And towards the end of slavery, he was raised by these white people and he became a great inventor. People say he created peanut butter, but he did. He did things with peanuts. He did things with soy. He did things with lilac. Black inventor. Matter of fact, some of the plastics that are sitting on your car today was invented by this black inventor in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. George Washington Carver. This ain't about black history, it's just to make a point. Now, George Washington Carver was castrated, probably. That is rumored. I don't know for sure. But when you talk to him, when you heard him speak on films, they had sound on when he was on films and he was talking to people on film. He had a very high pitched voice. And he became one of the most powerful black men. He taught, he was a teacher, a scientist. He was one of the great scientists of his time. A lot of black folks were. And a lot of white folks would buy from them and treat them like they was white because they knew the big boys knew, not them little rednecks down, on the corner store in the middle of the woods. Just them niggers was taking my job. No, I'm talking about Ford, Hershey, Vanderbilt, George Washington. They had these black folks who was real humble, but they actually ruled over white folks. Not all white folks, but over white folks. And the white folks didn't argue the point because guess what? The one who was over that person put him in charge. Let me put it this way, Moses. You know Moses in the Bible. I call him Musa, but for your sake, I won't call him Moses. In the Bible, he was raised as Pharaoh's own son. Who was given power over all Egypt. Not only Moses, but the first and original one, Yosef. We call him Joseph. Joseph, he was brought into Israel, abandoned by his brothers. He humbled himself and was brought forth through the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh said, "What? I'm going to make you like a Pharaoh. I'm going to give you charge of all the things in my nation. Everything, every person, everything was given to him, and he was a slave. Not one person stood up to Joseph until he was dead. There's people in this world who are powerful, who everybody looks at like they ain't got no real power. But when they really think about it, those who serve rule, and those who serve humbly rule over many. That's why you and I are where we're at. The one thing that we shouldn't serve, though, is their gods. We shouldn't serve the gods of the world. Shouldn't serve God. Shouldn't serve Jesus. Shouldn't serve Satan. Shouldn't serve Beelzebub. Shouldn't serve Caesar. Shouldn't serve Pharaoh. None of them. And when you become humble to them and to the point that they say, bow down to me, and you say, no, I'll serve you, but I'm not bowing down to you because you're not the creator. You're not the truth. You're not the way. You're not the light. That's when you are free from this world, but you are under the service of the creator, the master. That's when he lets you be enlightened to the ideas of what is going on around you. Their medication, nothing can help you. Oh, you can take their medication, it'll make you feel better, but they're just going to give you more. You know, prolong you, or let you believe they're prolonging. You can't get up no more, can't do nothing. Don't wait till you wake up. Get enlightened. Leave them hoes alone. You want wives, girlfriends? Take care of your business first. Keep your dick in your pants. Take care of your business. Because if you take care of your business at 20, by the time you hit your business at 40, you'll be taking over that bitch and all the other ones. They ain't gonna be fighting over, oh, he my man. Oh, that's a trap of the devil. I'm talking to men right now. They enslaved you. You're enslaved by them, and they enslaved by you. And the society that you live around and the gods that you worship put you in that situation. They put you in a sleep that you'll never wake up from. I may look tired, but I'm not. My body may feel tired, but I'm not. This is only this here, around the physical. They can't burn the spiritual. No one can heal you on this earth physically, not even the doctor. And to be honest, the voodoo man comes closer to fixing you than the doctor himself. And people who got education and technology, they ain't no closer to healing people. More people walked up from the grave from the voodoo man than they did from the doctor's stand. That's why the death tolls were going up. Coronavirus and all kinds of stuff. And we could kill the bacteria and you won't die and we'll get you hooked up with this flu shot. But whenever you turn around, the death toll goes up every time they come up with some shit. You're a slave because you look to them because you have nowhere else to go. So they give you the thing, hey, come on, baby. I can make you feel good. A psychiatrist. Oh, yeah, there's some people who need some help because they got real damage. But most of that damage was caused by the people who are helping you. So all they're doing is fixing what they broke in the first place. And when I say they, I'm talking about the establishment and all those who flow in the waters of the establishment, because the waters is the masses. The masses of people who follow the chain and ain't just blindly follow. They do whatever they tell them, believe whatever they tell them, and they get no place and they do nothing. They just stand still. I ain't no psychiatrist. I'm not no preacher. Like I say, all I'm doing is rant. You can hear me. You can listen to me, ignore me, tell me I'm crazy. Put it all down there. Even cuss at me. I don't care. I'm just telling you my perspective of things. I don't even know if I'm even reaching you and if it really matters. I just need something to do. I'm bored. And this is a new little thing. I'm an old geezer, almost 60. I ain't that old, but yeah, I'm old compared to them young people. Got on the computer, clicking on it all. Granny got a little flip phone. I'm like, wait a minute. I need something to do. So I ran. I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. It just comes out. Sometimes it's right, sometimes, yeah. But I see a perspective and I have a perspective of things. I ain't trying to rule you, but I have to. That's the way things are. And you ain't trying to rule me, but you have to. Because that's the way things are. I ain't saying they can't change for you for the better or even for the worse. I'm just saying that whatever happens, you're still going to be a slave. You're going to be a slave to the cigarette. You're going to be a slave to its company. You're going to be a slave to the drugs. You're going to be a slave to its dealer. You're going to be the slave to your way of life. You're going to be a slave to the psychiatrist. Slavery's all around. It never ended. We had slavery from the first day because we had to serve that which created us. Not saying anything bad about the creator. I'm just saying you had to serve that which created you. And it had to serve you because in order for you to be created, you have to be served. In other words, somewhere, somebody gave you that garden to walk around in. Somebody gave you the dirt to stand on. Somebody isn't somebody. Somebody's the creator. And the creator is not somebody, but I'm using the word somebody so that you understand that you had when all creation was created and man was made to walk on this planet. Somebody had to make that happen, which means that they served over you and they ruled over you and you rule over them, but not in the way that you're in charge. See, there's a difference between ruling and being in charge. And that's the difference between the creator and all them beings that you put above you. Your false gods, your real gods, your corporate executives and presidents and lawyers. Your creator said, I don't want this for you, but you begged for it. You begged for it, you begged for it. He even said they gonna steal from you, lie to you, take everything they can get from you. And you know what his people said? We want a king. And he said, well, if that's what they want, give it to them. Look where you at now. You got your king, your guys, your popes, all that. There you go. I'm done. Have a good day or night. Peace be. Have a good day. Have a good day.